Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. LeBrun. In today's lesson, I'm going to help you understand the World Languages Pedagogy Praxis exam number 5841. So this is the first in a 5-part series that will break down this exam part by part, section by section. So this exam is basically a summary of what you learned in your method course of teaching foreign languages. And I teach a course just like that. And so I'm going to share my information and knowledge with you. So here's a little bit of background information about the exam before we even get started. So it's going to cost you $160 to take it. So hopefully you'll study and take the test seriously, and hopefully you can pass it on the first try. It's going to take you about 2 hours, and there's 45 multiple choice questions, and there's 2 constructed response questions. So this exam is for people that want to be a world language teacher, and the dates and scores are going to vary by state. And so in the description below, I'm going to put information and a link for the Praxis website where you can check out the requirements for your state, and also there's some practice material that you can do as well. Okay, so there's basically 4 parts to it. There's 2 official sections, but basically there's 4 parts to this exam. The first part deals with language acquisition theories and instructional practices. So this is section 1A. There's going to be 18 multiple choice questions, and that makes up 32% of your overall test, or about 1/3 of the test score. So basically in this one, it's just kind of some background information about the 5 C's coming from ACTFL, and we'll take a look at some of these abbreviations more in depth and ways that you can implement them in future lessons. And then also we're going to be taking a look at some of the language acquisition theories, and then also some theorists, and then also talking about some organizations that correspond and support language teachers. All right, and the next part is integration of the standards into curriculum and instruction. It's section 1B. There's 13 multiple choice questions, which make up 23% of your test. So this is taking the theories and how do we implement that into our instruction and meeting the different standards. The next section is assessment of languages and cultures. This is section 1C. There's 14 multiple choice questions, which makes up 24% of your overall grade. So this section is about after we've taught our students, how do we assess them? How do we take that data and make changes if we need to? And then how do we report that information to our stakeholders? And in the final section, it's instructional practices, integrated skills. This is section 2, and section 2D and 2E. There's going to be 2 constructed responses, which make up 21% of your overall grade. So we're going to take a look at these just a little bit more in depth in this section, and then I've created more lessons that break these sections down individually. So again, section 1A is language acquisition theories and instructional practices. So then there's 3 subsections to this: cultures, literatures, cross-disciplinary concepts. Basically it's going to be the five C's, and we're going to talk about them more in depth. And then language acquisition theories and instructional practices. So we're going to take a look at how do the theories relate to classroom implementation. And then professionalism is how do we continue professional development, how do our students become lifelong learners, what are some organizations that are out there that are going to support us. And section 1B, integration of the standards into curriculum and instruction. So integration of the standards into curriculum instruction, or C&I. So how do we take those theories and put them into the classroom to meet the standards? And then integrating standards into planning, integrating standards into instruction, and then selecting and designing instructional materials is section 1B. And then we've got section 1C, again, multiple choice questions, assessment of languages and cultures. So knowing and using assessment models, how do we assess students? Reflecting on assessment, once we've collected data from how our students have done, can we move forward? Do we need to review anything? What do we do with that information? And then reporting assessment results. How do we provide that information to our principals, parents, stakeholders, community members? And then the last section is the constructed response section. There's 2 constructed responses. So section 2D is creating a lesson plan. So how do we go about creating a lesson plan? And then the last portion, section 2E, is a topic essay. So we're going to need to respond to something and write an essay. And again, all this information is going to be a link to prepare for this coming from the Praxis site that I'm going to put in the comment section below. Okay, so this is lesson 1, just information about the World Languages Pedagogy Praxis exam. Lesson 2 is going to be more information about the language acquisition theories, section 1A. Lesson 3 is going to be integration of standards into the curriculum, section 1B. And lesson 4 is going to be assessment of languages and cultures, section 1C. And then the final section, lesson 5, is going to be integration of practice, integrated skills, which is the constructed response. There's going to be 2 constructed responses that we'll look at more in depth, the lesson plan and the essay prompt. And that's section 2, parts D and E. All right, so hopefully by following these series for the exam number 5841, that's going to help you prepare for this valuable exam. That's going to prepare you to be a world language teacher. All right, gracias por mirar. This has been Learning Spanish with Dr. L. Go ahead, click that subscribe button. It's going to give you free access to all of my videos. All right, buena suerte en el examen de praxis.